Should we copy the notes now? Now, Patrick. Okay. Okay. Sorry for that network problem. I'm there. Don't worry. So I was still telling you that we went through that part that was looking at how plants differ from animals. We had to look at it in detail. Then, yes, Elizabeth Nawatukuvu is saying good afternoon, teacher. Good afternoon to you, Elizabeth. I hope you can be able to see what is on my screen. So we had to go through everything here, differences, and then we went on to look at the summary of that chapter, and then last week we looked at cells. Okay, now cells is chapter 2 according to the new curriculum book. Now the new curriculum book, when you check under Google Classroom, it is there. Mr. Chaz, I think, is the one who uploaded it. It is there, so you can go and have a look. Please, those who have just come in and you are saying good afternoon, please let us type now questions to do with the lesson. Okay, we shall have the last minutes to discuss and we chat. So for now, let us focus on to the lesson and we ask questions to do with the lesson. And so chapter 2 under the new curriculum book says that by the end of this chapter, you must know what a cell is. You must be able to identify different parts of a typical animal and plant cell. Now, last time we tried to look at a typical animal cell, but today's lesson, we are going to be able to look at the typical plant cell, okay? And then we shall also have to explain the structure of specialized cells, but not in this lesson, as well as different levels of cellular organization. So for now, the main effort is going to be looking at now the different parts of a plant cell, And I think I remember we were able to define what a cell is by me showing you those pictures, if you still remember. And I used those pictures to make you understand what a cell is. This picture of the human skin, this is human skin. If you have ever tried to observe your skin, you'll see some, or maybe light skin, depending, but the skin is a little bit like this. Now, looking at plant and animal cells, cells are too tiny to be seen by an unaided eye, and you need a microscope. You need a microscope to be able to see them. And here, for our case, we normally use what we call a light microscope. Like you can see these students here, they're using a light microscope, okay? I told you that we do not use an electron microscope because for it, it is use it to see live specimen, okay? It cannot be used to pick. Abigail is saying that that she's shy. I help her pick up. Good enough here on Zoom. No one is looking at you. So if you have a question, you just have to raise your hand and then you speak up. You speak out your question. Okay. So the overview is that the cell is the best unit of life or an organism, as we say that all living organisms are made up of cells, and some organisms are made up of just one cell, and those are called unicellular, whereas others are made up of many cells, and those ones are called multicellular. Yes, Akulo, you have a question? When you raise your hand and I ask you to unmute, you should unmute very fast and you ask your question. Otherwise, if you delay, I will be turning you off and then we continue. Yes. Okay, we can go on. So cells are too tiny to be seen by the naked eye. I think last time I told you that when we were going through. Now, viewing okay, sorry for that. We can continue. I hope you hear me now. I had gone off. I hope you hear me now. Okay. I hope you can hear me now. These are the slides which I was talking about that were able to see anything. And then this thing we are supposed to begin from here. Today's lesson. Now, functions of the parts of the animal cell. Now, the animal cell has what we call a cell membrane, okay? And then the cell membrane is the one that is selectively permeable. It's a very thin outermost layer that surrounds the cell, and then it allows only certain substances to go in and then certain substances to move out. And that's why I'm calling it selectively permeable. It is selectively permeable. That is the word that we normally use. Permeable. Simply means that it has certain substances to enter. And the cytoplasm, which is normally the fluid inside the cell, it's actually it's some kind of mucus-like liquid in the cell, and this is where we find most of this the cell parts. It is a liquid where metabolic processes here reactions occur. all actually in biology we call them metabolic processes that occur. Metabolic processes. And then it also holds the different which we call cell organelles of the cell, because organelle. Now, examples of cells that are actually found inside the cytoplasm is this nucleus, which is centrally located. We can also find there certain structures called mitochondria inside here. They are tiny, tiny structures. This is how we normally draw them. Now, these mitochondria, if I can write here, the word mitochondria, mitochondria. If it is one, actually, we use the word mitochondrion. And then if there are many, we write mitochondria. Now, this where energy is made. So energy is made there. The energy that the plant uses the cell uses to make all activities within. So energy is made here within the mitochondria. Okay, and actually, most biologists call it the powerhouse because this is the one that makes power for the cell or makes energy for the cell. Now, this large nucleus, this is where this is the brain of the cell. It controls all the activities within the cell. All the activities are coordinated here by the nucleus. Secondly, it holds DNA. So DNA is found here inside the nucleus. I think you guys have heard of DNA. That is the hereditary, all your genes. So DNA is found inside the nucleus of a cell in the form of what we call chromosomes. So DNA is found inside the nucleus in form of chromosomes. Chromosomes inside here. Okay. Someone, let me pick some people with a question. Yes, Isaiah, you have a question? Isaiah, can you speak up? I can't hear you. Isaiah, can you speak up?
Is it only microscope is to tiny cells? Is it only the only the microscopes that are used to see the
I've not got the last bit of what you are saying. I've not got the last bit of what you are saying. Let me pick another question from Chimera.
What are engineer cells? What are engineer cells?
Okay.
What are cellular cells?
Unicellular. Okay, I'm going to comment about it, Chimela. Okay. Yes. Let me pick another question from Akulo. Yes, Akulo.
Sir.
Yes.
Do plant cells also have DNA?
Okay, thank you for that question. I'm going to comment about it. Plant cells. Let me pick another question from Liz. Yes, Liz.
Excuse me, teacher. Is there a difference between mitochondria and mitochondrium? Like the difference, kind of.
Yes, I'm going to also comment about that.
Okay, teacher.
Let me pick from Sylvia.
So does a plant cell have a flagella?
Does a plant cell have a plantella?
Flagella.
Flagella.
Yeah.
Okay. Flagella. I'm going to comment about it. And then let me end with Tessa Zanetta. Yes, Tessa.
Shema wanted to answer the person who was asking what unicellular cells are.
Please help us, Tessa.
Unicellular cells are cells made up of one cell. And then the multicellular, the ones made of many cells.
Okay, can you give us an example of a multicellular organism?
Human beings.
Thank you very much. And then any example of a unicellular organism? Okay, this has moved off. Then Shadik. Okay, Shadik is not unmuting. Let me end with David. Yes, David.
Excuse me, sir. What's DNA in full?
Okay. DNA in full. Okay, let me first answer these few questions.
Good afternoon, Master.
Yes. Please ask your question.
Master, I'm asking, like, can you repeat for me examples of cell organelles?
Okay, thank you, Shadik. Let me answer now those few questions for now. Now, beginning with this question of mitochondria. Now, mitochondrion, this is when you're looking at one. If it is one, just like you can have a coin, a chinusu, that is one. But if you have many coins, those are called coins. You see? Now, mitochondrion is the singular form. And then if you are looking at many, then you write the word mitochondria. It ends with IA instead of ION. Then this question of unicellular has been answered. Then plant cells, the next slide is about plant cells. I'm going to comment more about plant cells and even the single flagella. Now, flagella is going to be found in animals or unicellular organisms which can move. Plant cells don't move, so they will not have the flagella. And then examples of cell organelles by Shadik. Now, cell organelles is like cell parts. Just like your body, inside you have a part called a heart, you have intestines, you have a liver, you have a pancreas inside your body. Those are body parts. Now, also the cell parts that are found inside are called cell organelles, because that's why I defined it as a cell organelle refers to a distinctive part of a cell with a particular function. So an example is this mitochondria or mitochondrion. It is a part of a cell, so you can call it a cell organelle. A nucleus, you can call it a cell organelle. Small thing, anything that is found inside here, you can call it a cell organelle. Then DNA, someone asked about DNA in full. DNA in full stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. That's DNA in full. But I've told you that it is normally found in form of thread-like structures inside here, which we call chromosomes. That's how they appear inside the nucleus. Okay, and its purpose is to hold the hereditary material or the genetic makeup of an organism. Okay, and then looking through the charts, I can see Michaela is asking DNA in full. I've already said it is deoxyribonucleic acid. And Tessa says in cellular we have an amoeba. That is correct. So let us go to the next slide, which looks at now the plant cell. Now, under the plant cell, do you know what is found inside the plant cell? Do you know? Now, this is what you need. You need prepared slides of a plant cell. Now, you can see this guy here was trying to prepare a slide of a plant cell, okay? And then after you prepare this slide, you place it on a microscope here. You place it on a microscope, then you look through the eyepiece of the microscope to be able to see the cells inside it, okay? That's what we normally do. You prepare a slide, you place the cells here, then place it on a microscope, you begin seeing. What are you going to see inside? Now, when you begin observing the prepared slide of a plant cell, of course, I will help you. This is what you may see inside in this picture. So these are the different cells that you can see, and then draw only one cell, because now these are many. You can see here, I think the sample is going to be small only on this part. Actually, it may only be there where I've circled when you are looking, but when you observe through the microscope, you find that you're going to see very many cells. And in my observation, this is cell 1, this is cell 2, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You see, we can count many cells here. And by the way, some parts of the cell, so it may not, some parts not be seen easily. Let me think some have many. Yes, Ian. Please, I said when I ask you to unmute, you should unmute very fast, and then you speak. Some of you delay to unmute, and I will not be choosing you if you delay to unmute. Let me, Victoria Claire Duffin. Yes, Victoria. Victor. Yes.
So, it doesn't miss. So, would beg you
To repeat.
to repeat the full form of DNA.
Repeat DNA in full. Eh?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why people are so much interested in knowing what DNA in full is, but for our level, we do not need to know what DNA in full is. But due to the fact that many people are asking me, so it's going to be the deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid. That's where DNA in full comes from. Deoxyribonucleic acid. That is DNA in full. Okay. So that's the genetic material that is in your body. Let me choose another person. Nabatukubi is asking, what are those green things? Are they cells? I'm going to comment about the green things. Then Michaela is asking, what are eukaryotic cells? Eukaryotic cells. I'm going to talk about eukaryotic cells. Okay, let me see. Melody is asking, where is the nucleus? Okay, I'm going to show you the nucleus. The nucleus is here actually. I don't know whether you can be able to see this thing here. Let me circle it. That's the nucleus there. Here it is here. Of course, for you to be able to identify the nucleus, it takes time to have that expertise of being able to see, because sometimes you may not actually see it very well. Let me pick some questions from some people here. Catherine, yes, Catherine. Catherine, you have a question? Let me pick another one. Anna Damba. Yes, Damba, Anna. When I ask you to unmute, please unmute very fast and speak. Yes, Anna.
I would like to know the functions of a nuclear membrane.
Okay, nuclear membrane. I'm going to talk about nuclear membrane. Nuclear membrane. Now, so I don't know where you guys are getting some of these parts, but some of these parts we don't so much look at them in detail at this level. But of course, I'm going to answer you. Let me pick another person. Velma. Yes, Velma. When I ask you to unmute, please do it very fast because there are many people to speak. If you delay, I choose another person. Jose Maria. Jose Maria, we can't hear you. Let me choose another person, last person. Isingoma Emma. Isingoma. Isingoma has failed to unmute. Let me end with Ajiambo. Jenna Zach. Yes, Jenna Zach.
So the last time you told me that a plant cell has a cell wall. How come here I'm not?
That is true.
I'm not doing that.
We're not doing what?
The last time you taught us about these things, like when I posed the question that like an animal cell has a cell wall. Then you said that plant cells are which have cell walls. But I'm not saying a cell wall here.
To comment. Let me cells as that. Let me first answer these people and then I come back to eukaryotic cells. Now I'll comment much about eukaryotic cells when we have reached classification. But in summary, it's a Greek terminology which means true. This word EU. EU means true, and then karyot means nucleus. Okay. So the whole word eukaryotic means true nucleus. Now, all plants, all animals, they can be classified under eukaryotic organisms, or you can say that they all have eukaryotic cells, meaning that they all have a nucleus that's a membrane-bound organelles, and they also have a nucleus. Like their DNA is found inside the nucleus. Like you can see here, this is what I'm calling a nuclear membrane. like the other one asked me. Now, this nuclear membrane surrounds the DNA. Now, whichever cell that has a nuclear membrane surrounding the DNA is called a eukaryotic cell. Okay, and then the nuclear membrane holds the DNA inside and prevents the DNA from escaping from the nucleus. And the nuclear membrane, by the way, it has pores, which we call nuclear pores, whereby those nuclear pores can only allow certain particles to move out, okay, and then certain particles to enter. Now, there are some other cells which we call prokaryotic cells. Now, those cells do not have a nucleus. Rather, their DNA is found lying free in the cytoplasm. Now, that is the difference. Now, about Jenna's question, when you are to look at, let me first get a duster here, and then I remove off this so that I can draw for you. I want to draw for you the cell which you normally know using, the one which is drawn using pencil. Okay. Now I'm going to draw this upper cell here. Let me circle it because there are many cells. If I'm to draw its shape, it will be in this kind of shape. It will be in this kind of shape. I hope you're able to see this is line shape. Now you can see that this thing is double. There is that first layer, but there is also another thin layer. I don't know if you see it well. That layer, this other layer. We are able to see that. So I'm going to draw that outer layer, then I draw the inner layer. That's the inner layer, like that. That's the inner layer. And then I see the layer inside. Now this other layer comes like that. Okay, sorry for that small network problem. Sorry for that small network problem. Let me continue. I was still telling you that. Oh, sorry for that. Oh, yeah. Now someone asked me that. What are those green particles? Now these green kind of particles, if I can draw them like that. Okay, let me get the green marker. Particles, those are called chloroplasts. Those are called chloroplasts. Those ones that you are seeing. Those are called chloroplasts. Yeah, those are called chloroplasts, like here. And then you can see that there are many, and the purpose of the chloroplasts, I'm yet to talk about it, but they are the ones that actually hold chlorophyll, which traps sunlight energy. The school you said about photosynthesis, which is the process by which green plants make their own food. If you hadn't understood the other one, this, which is spherical, you can see it, that is the cell, the chloroplasts are there still. Those are the chloroplasts, which are normally drawn like that. Those are the chloroplasts, the green particles. Then the space in the middle of the plant cell is called the vacuole. And then the cytoplasm is that fluid surrounding the vacuole, okay? And then the outermost layer of a cell is called the cell wall. Of course, here you are able to see very many different cells. And you can see here, you are able to see the nucleus here, which is closer to the wall. This is the nucleus, okay? And then you see sometimes the vacuole can be like that. So different cells have different sizes of the vacuole, depending. If I can use this marker to draw, I'm assuming this is the vacuole of the cell, and then this is the nucleus, and then this is the cell membrane there, and then the cell wall, that is the other, that is the cell wall, and then you could have these other small organelles. The chloroplasts are there, the mitochondria will be there. So that is a typical plant cell. This is one, but you can find when there are many, many cells. Let me pick some of these questions so that I can answer some of queries. Yes, Miracle?
Teacher, I haven't understood those green particles.
The green particles are called chloroplasts. They are the ones which trap sunlight energy for photosynthesis. And all plant cells have them. They are the ones that make the plant be able to make food. And then Sylvia. Yes, Sylvia.
Does a plant cell have 3 layers, like the cell wall?
Farida Nanfuka. Yes, that is true, Sylvia. A plant cell, as you can see, it has 3 layers. The outermost layer, you can call it the cell wall.
Yes.
The cell wall. And then the next layer, you can call it the cell membrane. Cell membrane, and then the other layer, you can call it the tonoplast. It's called tonoplast. It is the one that surrounds the vacuole. Those are the 3 layers.
Okay.
Chloe is saying that, teacher, I thought a plant cell had a middle lamella. That is true. You will see a middle lamella that is in between one plant cell and another. That's where there is the lamella. Now, like for example, you're having this plant cell here, and there is another one that can connect if you are looking at another plant cell here. So in between one, actually, let me use this here. So in between one plant cell, this one here, and another, you have the middle lamella there, where it separates one plant cell from another. That's what we call a middle lamella. Someone is saying your speaker is muted. No, it is your speaker that is muted. And I hope people are able to hear me. I think people are able to hear me. That's why they are responding to me. It seems it is your mic that is muted. And then let me pick another question from Abdallah. Yes,
Does a plant cell have mitochondria? Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Plant cell have mitochondria.
Yes, that is very correct. A plant cell has the mitochondria because a mitochondria is the one that is supposed to make energy. So both the plant and animal cell, they have mitochondria. But the unfortunate bit of it is that sometimes when you are focusing, for example, when this one was focusing this plant cell, he was focused on zooming out the chloroplasts. So for you to be able to see the mitochondria well, then you must change the focusing. You refine. Here we are not in the picture, but they must be there. Then Tina, yes, Tina.
Teacher, where is the starch found in the plant cell?
Okay, thank you very much, Tina.
You're
now,
welcome.
in the cytoplasm, yeah, we see if we are again to look at some of these. When you check in the cytoplasm of a plant cell, normally there are starch granules within the cell. Like it is concentrated in some places, some sections where you can call it like starch granules. You get it? So that's where it is found. Within the cytoplasm, there are starch granules that's where starch is stored. And then let me pick Julia. Yes, Julia.
Yes, teacher, you say that the tonoplast surrounds the vacuole.
Yes.
So which is the vacuole? Is the vacuole the inside of the tonoplast? Like, is it a liquid or?
Now the vacuole stores. It may store certain wastes. Sometimes it may store food. It may store. It is some space in the middle of a cell. You get it?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. This is now actually. If I can use, let me use this picture. This is the vacuole, which may store food, it may store waste, like that. That's the middle part. And this layer which is surrounding the vacuole is called tonoplast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. Let me pick on Lukungu. Yes, Lukungu. Lukungu. Let me choose Titus. Yes, Titus and Agnes. Yep. Please ask your question. You are not doing what? We have lost that one. He's not speaking.
What is the use?
I've not heard that. Let me choose that. What is the use of? Let me first read some chat words here. Shida is saying that, teacher, I request that you pardon me on the function of the nucleus. Shida said that the nucleus stores the genetic material of a cell, or you can say it stores DNA. If you don't want to use the word DNA, you can use genetic material of a cell, or hereditary material, or you can just say chromosomes. Okay. And then normally when you can't see my screen, you have to just rejoin. The use of the chondria it's for the plant cell or the animal cell, just to make energy. And then does the cell membrane of the plant work as the same function of allowing in certain materials and out? Then Mary says that even do the carnivorous plants have chloroplasts? Yes, carnivorous plants also have chloroplasts. The reason as why they're called carnivorous plants is that they are capable of trapping insects and killing them. The purpose of killing those insects is to obtain nitrogen, because most carnivorous plants grow in soils that lack nitrogen in their soils. And then teacher, the use of the vacuole, I've said that the vacuole is to store certain sugars or food or wastes within the plant. Then Abigail says no one has understood a word you said from the explanation of a plant cell. Abigail, you cannot say that no one has understood. It is maybe only you who has not understood. Then Patrick says, I can't hear. Then Mary says, I can't see your screen. And then Atim says, does the tonoplast function as the cell membrane? The tonoplast is going to be surrounding the vacuole, and it will let in certain wastes as well as sugars into the vacuole and then out into the cytoplasm. So it is that membrane in between the cytoplasm of the cell and then inside the vacuole. Then Liz says, "What am I correct?" Yes, Liz, you are actually very correct. You are very correct. Then Miracle says, "What is the use of the chloroplast?" I've told you that the chloroplast is that green, those green structures that trap sunlight energy for photosynthesis. Let me pick some other questions here. Another question from Patrick Lukonga. Aikoba. Yes, Aikoba. Aikoba. Let me choose Yakubu official. Yes, Yakubu. Abigail says, no teacher, I didn't say we didn't understand because we didn't want. Your network is bad and it's affecting. I think some people are getting me. It's not my network. Then Sylvia says, does a plant cell have a lysosome? I'll comment about a lysosome. And as I said, I don't know where some of you are getting some of these structures, because when we are learning about a simple plant and animal cell, lysosome. Now, this is a structure which can automatically, once its contents are released within a cell, it can destroy the whole cell. It splits. It can actually split. It normally contains hydrolytic enzymes in it. Okay, and very many cells actually do have it. Sabra says, can you draw it any shape? Yes, you can draw it in any shape because plant cells have different shapes. Then Chloe says, excuse me, teacher, where is starch granule? It is going to be found within the cytoplasm. You may just find somewhere and then you draw starch granules there within the cytoplasm. And then you can label them as starch granules. Starch granules. Like that. Okay. Let me pick the last question. And then Mary says, I have not seen the starch granules. Does the plant have mitochondria? Yes, it has mitochondria on my screen. I've just drawn the starch granules. You can as well draw the mitochondria there like this. This is how you can draw the mitochondria. This is how you can draw the mitochondria, like that. This is how you can draw the mitochondria within the plant cell. Okay, and then you can label it as mitochondria. Mitochondrion. Yes, says that is done also in humans. What do you mean by done? I don't know what you mean by done, Sylvia. I think maybe you meant DNA. Is DNA also? Yes, every living organism has DNA. Every living organism actually has DNA. Okay. And then let me pick some few questions before I can wind up the lesson. Please, in case you don't want to ask a question, lower down your hand so that your friends who want to ask can have a chance. Yes, Victor.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, you ask your question.
My question. Does the plant have a flagella?
Flagella. No, Victor. A plant cell does not have a flagella. It does not.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Fahad. Yes, Fahad.
Teacher, does the plant cell have such brains?
Pardon?
Teacher.
Yes.
Does the plant cell have such brain?
A plant cell, yes. A plant cell has starch granules, especially if it has been photosynthesizing.
What of genetic material? Genetic material.
Yeah. Yeah, every plant, every cell, actually, every cell, I want to repeat, whether plant, whether animal, whether what, it will have its genetic material in the nucleus. And genetic material, I call it DNA. Yes. And then
DNA.
Okay, Sabra is asking, does the plant cell have a tonoplast? Yeah, and I don't know whether you guys can do this what's on my screen, but I already labeled it here. This is a plant cell. And then Mary says the importance of starch granules. Now, Mary, starch granules, that's how the plant stores food. The plant stores food in form of starch granules. Yes, Farida. Okay. Yes, John. John, you have a question? John, you have a question? Okay. Okay, let me end with Tina. We are left with 1 minute.
Teacher, yes. I'm new. How do I get the work?
You will go to Google Classroom.
I use a phone. How do I access Google Classroom?
Please download you go to Google Play Store and then type the word Google Classroom. Then you download that application of Google Classroom. Okay.
Okay, teacher. Yes.
Yeah. And then you'll go to Christian Schools Association website, and then you'll find the link to make you join and the code to join Google Classroom.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. You guys have been good students. Bye-bye and enjoy yourselves. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.